guessing a few of you can remember playing a sport when you were younger. Maybe it was soccer or football. I wonder if you guys realized how much that sport may have actually taught you in your life with what you could have used today. Personally, I played volleyball all of my life, and it taught me, participating in that team sport, it taught me a lot of characteristics and traits that I still use today. Today I'll be talking about how it's important that kids play a team sport as they grow up. And to do that, I'll be talking about, first I'll be talking about how exercise and how it fights obesity when kids play sport from a young age, that it boosts self-esteem and social awareness, and that and the future characteristics and traits that kids can get from playing sports at a young age. So first I'll talk about one of the obvious physical reasons is that it fights obesity. Some alarming statistics by the Centers of Disease Control says that the percentage of children from ages 6 to 11 who are obese increased 7% from 1980 to 2010. Among ages 12 to 19, the figure goes from 5 to 18%. So that's a statistic that's growing really quickly, and so one thing that kids our age could do when they have children in the future would be able to try to put their kids into sports and activities like that beginning from a young age, so that they learn that should be a part of their everyday routine. Another thing to think about is a quote from the Aspen Project play that says, "Today, children are most likely to be the first generation to live shorter and less healthy lives than their parents." And that caught my attention a lot, because in a perfect world, each generation should be better or more advanced in most ways than the generation before, because you always want to keep moving forward and progress and stuff like that. So when I was really thinking of this, I thought that the kids playing team sports could be just another way to make another way that our generation could help, since our generation is, hopefully that doesn't happen, that we don't live shorter lives, but just to move forward and help the next generation after that, we can set our kids on that path. So along with physical benefits of playing sports at a young age, there are mental benefits as well. First, starting with a child's self-esteem. And so we all know it's hard growing up. There's a lot of confusion and to meet new people and stuff like that, and everything's kind of out of control sometimes as you're growing up. So being on a sports team can give a child a sense of control in that aspect of their life, because it depends on them to work hard and to do better in that sport. In a child development book in chapter 3 titled Sports for Children and Youth, the author states that early to mid-childhood is a critical period in child development because this is when children learn to use their senses to explore and make sense of their surroundings. This period of development helps to build connections in the brain that foster confidence, independence, and physical capacity needed to lead healthy lives. So that quote, it really emphasizes the importance of being on a sports team at a young age, and how that can help with their confidence and independence. And so next we'll talk about, there's a study done, and it's on ScienceDaily.com. It says that playing on a sports team was linked to higher life satisfaction in both boys and girls. And in addition, boys were 5 times more likely and girls 30 times more likely to describe their health as fair or poor when they did not play on a sports team. So, as it says, life satisfaction can equal to better confidence in kids, and with better confidence, that can help in all aspects of a child's life, especially in their schooling and academics, because if they have more life satisfaction, more confidence, they would be more willing and enthusiastic to work harder in their lives, like in school and stuff. And for certain programs, when they properly enforce it, you have to have a certain GPA to play on a sports team, so that makes sports more of a privilege so the students can work and learn to earn what they want to do. And lastly, we talk about how it's a feeling of being on a sports team can give you a feeling of belonging. And sometimes when kids, they can feel like they're not in place, or they don't know where they should be or want to be. And so being on a sports team gives you more of, you belong to a part of the team and they need you there to keep moving forward. And so social awareness, this is very important because it teaches kids responsibility in the fact that it's not just them that they have to worry about when they're a part of the team. Their actions can have consequences for the rest of the team, so it helps them learn moral and ethical skills. And being on a sports team young can also affect the rest of your lives as well. Like, you can learn hard work, teamwork, and how to win and lose. So here's a quote from Wilma Rudolph, an Olympic gold medalist. She says, "Believe me, the reward is not so great without the struggle." And this quote is basically saying that with persistence, you can get to where you want to be, and that it's very much worth it. So sports, it can be challenging at times, and it can teach kids persistence, which goes on into their future lives. Like, let's say someone is working for promotion in their job. Without persistence, they won't be able to get there if they're just going to quit before they get there. And it can also help in your personal life as well. Like in relationships, you have to work hard at it to be persistent, and you have to just communicate and work well together. Sports will also teach kids that, teach them to be their best, because you don't want to just get by. It'll teach them that to win, you have to work your hardest. In a survey of 400 women, of executive women in their career, it said that 94% of them played sports, and that over half of them said it helped them in their career. So that just shows how it can help you and benefit kids in the future. Next, teamwork. It helps with your skills in communication and patience. And this is very important in pretty much everything. You have to, like in a relationship and with your friends and family, you have to learn how to be patient with people and communicate with people that you may not like or want to be around, but it's just something that you should know. And learning to lose and win, that's very, very important. Learning to lose helps kids become stronger and understand that it's important to get back up even when you're down. And learning to win, it helps motivate kids they'll get a sense of achievement. So with that achievement, it'll make them move forward and want achievement more, so they'll keep growing. So all of those traits, hard work, teamwork, and learning to lose and win will make a child very rounded adult in their future. And so today I've talked about how the benefits of kids playing sports starting from a young age, from that it fights childhood obesity, and that they can gain it benefits self-esteem and social awareness, and lastly that it teaches them characteristics that they should know, that they should gain later in their lives. And so today I hope I have convinced you guys that to help our generation, you should want to put your kids in sports as well.
Jack, what'd you think?
I thought I like the quote that she pulled in chapter 3, and I like the fact that she tied it into confidence, and she at first I was confused about confidence, but then she goes in and explains how confidence improves the kid's life. I thought that was really good. I saw some signposting here and there, which was really helpful. I kind of sort of knew when she was transitioning, but sometimes I kind of missed like what was the major body point. The delivery was mostly good. Her voice projected really well. Sometimes she seems like she was reading from the cards a little bit and not really making a lot of eye contact. Her pacing is a little bit monotonous throughout, like she has the same pace. But her tone is really well used. Some places you can tell she was more excited than other places. Overall, I think it kind of sounds like an informative speech to me. I think when you're talking about like kids and why you should put kids into sports teams, you should really tie into the audience and how we act as future parents more instead of preaching it to us as individuals. And yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff in this speech. I thought that you did a pretty nice job developing content, trying to structure it. I say trying to structure it because toward the end, sometimes I just felt like I was getting a checklist of things. One of the reasons is that you're not getting the motivational part in there. In other words, here's a piece of data, here's a piece of data, here's a piece of data, and here's a claim. Tell us a story about some kid who learned about teamwork, or some kid who felt like an outsider but became, a member of a team and learned how to connect with other people. Give us, when you present a statistic that talks about how kids are obese or something like that, give us a way to emotionally connect to that situation. The best emotional appeal that I heard in your speech was that one that said, this is the generation that's likely to be the first one ever that lives shorter lives than the previous generation. And I thought that was a really good point on that. So I think you need to kind of find some more emotional connections to things you're talking about. I think your voice is pretty good, but you forget that you're talking to an audience. I mean, you start off kind of looking at us, and then whenever you go to your notes to look at information, you forget to come back. And sometimes you drift back and start talking to us, but most of the time it's just like you're thinking, well, what's the next thing I'm going to talk about? And I think that gets to be problematic. All right, thank you.